Well, welcome everybody to the session. Okay, so we're going to talk about Copilot, but first of all, I just want to just flag this to you. This is not in this month's updates. It was in last month's, but there's a minor update to it. So you can see the new layout for Copilot here, and we can see the slider in the top. So we've got the new design slider, and not all organizations have this, but if you have this on, it's where people have the choice between the new design and the old design. So the old design was where we had the work and web option at the top, and then the new design where that pushes over to the work IQ, where you turn that on or off. That's like the work or web. The slider is going on the 15th of July. So if you have that slider in your organization, just be aware that's going to disappear on the 15th of July. That's what Microsoft say at the moment. It's going to disappear, and the new experience will become the default. So if you haven't relayed that to your peers yet, now would be a good time. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So search in Copilot, I think, is fantastic. It's super useful, but it's just going to get a little bit of a simpler look to it. So you can see here that the summarized answers are going to be a little bit shorter, more straightforward. So instead of having the option to expand it and see more, the summary is getting quite a bit shorter. And also, there's going to be a prompt in the sidebar, a clearer prompt in the sidebar, that lets you go from your search into a conversation with Copilot. So you can continue from that summary about the summary, and you can get straight into this thing that you've done your search on, and it will remember the search from the results, and then you can start engaging with a Copilot with those results. So just a bit of a cleanup of that interface. You should have that from the end of the month into August. So this, you've probably heard about this. This is all over LinkedIn, for example. Earlier in the month, this happened between our last meeting and this meeting. So Co-work became generally available. Instead of being like an agent on the left here, it got its own tab at the top there. It came with new plugins and new skills. But the news that it also came with is that it needed, in addition to your Copilot license, usage-based billing. So your organization had to set up credits, and they would be used. Now, I know of two organizations that have just, for most people, have just turned it off while they work out what they're going to do about the billing and how much things are going to cost. I know Microsoft are trying to help people work out what things are going to cost. Okay, Copilot Notebooks for Copilot Basic. I think this is quite nice. So Copilot Notebooks are a great place. Oops, let me just go back one. So we're in the new layout, and the new layout gives us the app launcher up here. And I click on it, and in there, as well as the other apps which I've hidden from this view, we get notebooks in there. So that's how you get into your notebooks now. And you might already know this is a persistent AI-powered workspace to organize content. Just to give you an idea, last time I did a demo of this, what I did was I went and got a lot of resources for learning Copilot and doing some of Microsoft's courses, and I put them into here. And then this became my little learning hub that looked at only the things that I put in here. Okay, so I've asked in the past, if you've been coming for a while, you know that I've really struggled with notebooks in the past. I've asked people what their uses are for notebooks. But really, for me, that is just such a fantastic use case for it. But anyway, what's great is it's coming to Copilot Basic. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few restrictions in there. Maybe it's not quite as smart, some of the things that it creates. But let's see. That rolled out between our last session and this session, so that should be available now. So I know that some people on the call, you only have Copilot Basic, looking at your names and your addresses. So go and check that out. See that's available to you. Okay, sticking with notebooks, the study guide. So look at this. So we're in the overview, or we've gone to create, and then we're going to select study guide, or we have the other option down here. At number 2, we can select study guide here. And what it's going to do, it's going to look at all the things that we have added. So it might remember now that it can support external links as well. It never used to be able to do that, did it? It always had to be internal. So you can put lots of Microsoft resources in here, or your documents, or your internal stuff. And then you can create, look at this, we can create summaries, quizzes, flashcards if you're trying to learn something, fill in the blanks. Fantastic tools here for learning something. So next time you're trying to learn something in the workplace, maybe you're trying to learn Copilot, consider this study guide functionality in the notebooks. And again, that one rolled out between us last speaking. Quite a lot's happened since we last spoke. Another one in notebooks, it's like there's a whole lot of notebooks going on. Let's just look at where we accessed our notebooks. So they used to be on the left-hand side, didn't they? They used to be down the menu there. They've moved to the new app launcher. So if you're using a new Copilot experience, which we all will be in about 7 days, it's in the app launcher. Then we go into notebooks there. Hopefully, okay, how's that's okay, Michelle? Okay, infographics. So maybe we've done all that study stuff, and we've got we're getting on quite well with our Copilot learning that we've set up in our notebook. But maybe we're quite visual, and there's some visual tools there. But let's look at this other visual tool. So we've gone into our overview, and we've clicked on there. So we're going to click and say we want an infographic, and it's going to look only at the references that I have added to this notebook. And here's one that I did look at this. So I put in a load of slides, which I've used previously, and it's just carved it up. And we've got a section for Outlook and SharePoint and lists and forms and some of the high level updates that happened over a 6-month period. That came from a fairly simple prompt. You might recognize this. When this first came out, loads of people across LinkedIn were sharing this their infographics based on this. But I think for a first pass, there's still a couple of questionable spellings in there, which I thought it generally solved. But I think with a nice detailed prompt, I bet you could create a really nice infographic for yourself or your colleagues. Delia's asking, is it accessible? My first pass, Delia, when these things come out initially, I'm gonna guess that it isn't. If I'm honest, Delia, this might be something that we have for our personal use rather than pushing out. That's a really good point, Delia. Quite often these things aren't when they first happen, are they? Prompt. Couple of options. You preview it, and that screen you can see on the left hand side. And if you want to, you can download it. And whatever you choose to do, once you've created it, it'll be saved within your notebook. Okay, so if you don't have that yet, you should have that any day now. Suggested edits in Copilot Pages. Just very quickly on this one. I know not that many people use Copilot Pages, but very quickly, you and your Copilot Pages, and Copilot's going to suggest edits. Also, you can ask it to suggest edits as well. If we just zoom in on that a little bit, we can look at this, and we can improve it by doing whatever. And if we want to, we can select apply, and then we can have that change. It started rolling out already, but you might not get it until early August. Updated handling of work entities added in the Copilot, in the Copilot chat box. I think I've been talking about this since around Christmas. I think I've been talking about this for quite a long time. So instead of, look at this, at the moment, if you click on the plus sign and you add something from work, or you did a / and you add something, it stays in line with where you're typing and the prompt that you're creating, doesn't it? That's going to stop happening, and it's just going to appear as a tab just above your prompt. You can see there October, Mona, research, and that +2. Okay, so look out for that, folks. It's going to happen anytime now, apparently, but I do feel like I've been talking about that for a long time. Going back to notebooks, adding Outlook emails as references. So maybe you're working on, I don't know, maybe Valerie's working on the XYZ project, and you've got some resources on SharePoint, maybe you've got some documents, and now you've got some emails as well. You can add those as references if you want to. That should happen over the next maybe 3 weeks or so. But the notebooks just get better and better. And this hasn't rolled out. This should have rolled out for everyone now. You know, I said earlier that we've got the option to add external web links as references in Copilot Notebooks. We didn't have that before, and it's really restrictive. If last time you tried that it didn't work, it should have completely rolled out for everybody by late June. That example I gave you when I was talking about setting up setting up like a micro learning hub for yourself, that is a great resource for that. Okay, folks, I'm going to pause for breath. Anyone have any questions or comments about that Copilot stuff? Thinking about the Co-work stuff, which is unfortunate. but also that all that work Microsoft are doing with the notebooks.
I did
No,
use it for preparation for internal IT trainings, and it worked
okay,
quite nicely.
okay, Dimitri. So do you want to just give us the six? What did you do? Did you add some resources to it? Then you create some stuff from it. What did you do, Dimitri?
Yes, I provided my PowerPoint and some other PDFs and web links that I use for reference. And then I used this to create an agenda for the training, an
Yeah.
infographic. I tried the audio overview as well, but didn't use it in the end. But
Okay.
it has a lot of potential.
Yeah. See, I think you're right, Dimitri. You said potential there. I've struggled with it in the past. I feel like it's just coming to a really good place now. And what you just said about creating content, Dimitri, imagine that we put in there. So I don't know. Let's say we're doing a session on comparing files in Teams and OneDrive and SharePoint. So we could point it to the resources that Microsoft have. We could look at our internal policies, look at our accessible terms and the way we phrase stuff, and you could put all of those things in and make some quite nice content from there.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, so we move along. Prompt, prompt, prompt,
Just
prompt on. So if you support your colleagues, this is a good one for you may to maybe share with
prompt.
people. Uh, a new libraries view is coming to OneDrive for the web. So let's just zoom in there. So this is where it's going to appear. Okay, so it replaces the more places, um, and you look at your recently accessed places, your libraries, teams. If you go in there, I think this might make it a bit easier to find files, along with something else I'm going to show you later. So your recent, the stuff that's in your teams, and your favorite sites. Now, over on the right-hand side, look at this. We can filter, we can search, or we can use those filters as well. So I'm working with some people who are moving from Google to Microsoft, and one of the challenges they have is just finding stuff and navigating around and getting back to things that they've looked at. So 100% I'll be sharing this with people. So the change is there that libraries, so the more places is getting replaced with libraries. I think that might be worth a share. Choose where to save shortcuts in OneDrive. So that same group of people I was talking about, they sometimes struggled initially when I got my OneDrive and I got SharePoint and I got Teams. I need an but the stuff that I access is scattered all across these different SharePoint sites. So how do we get back to them? And one option was to go to the SharePoint areas, get to the level that you want, and then select Add Shortcut. Now, this shortcut would go into your My Files section of OneDrive. I always recommended that I create a folder called Shortcuts, and then drag that in so it's nice and tidy. Oh, look what Microsoft have changed. So we've clicked on here. We're going to click on Add Shortcut, and we now have a choice where we put it. Do you want it to have the old behavior, just drop it into your My Files, or do you want it to go into Shortcuts? Now, the shortcuts, if you select Shortcuts, it will be created. It will be created on the first use. If you've already got a folder called Shortcuts, it will just use that folder called Shortcuts. It stands out. I apologize for the lack of clarity there, but there's a little icon on the folder. The folder will be blue for those of us who are okay with that. So it should be easier between the color and the icon. It should be easier to spot regardless of whether you get on with blue or not. Your existing shortcuts aren't moved, but folks, I think that's going to be a fantastic little tweak. And if people say to you, I have trouble finding my way back and getting back to things, I think that adding the shortcuts, I think will be quite a useful tweak. Okay, let's have some bite-sized updates for OneDrive. OneDrive and IOS will let you find and browse SharePoint document libraries. So I don't spend a lot of time on Apple devices, but hopefully, if you do, that's useful to you. Okay, this one, let me just remind you, this icon here, the telescope tells you this is further out in the distance. Okay, and the Find Document Libraries in OneDrive search results. So you've gone to your OneDrive, and the document library you want isn't there. You haven't gone there recently. It's not one of your favorites. So you're going to be able to get it to surface in your OneDrive search results. Not due to August. I think I'll be telling you about this next month or maybe the month after. These things do get delayed a little bit. But again, making OneDrive more useful, I think that's a really nice tweak. For those people who use Markdown files, so remember I told you maybe 4 months ago that Microsoft that OneDrive had the ability to store and edit and create Markdown files. That's getting a little update. Now you can now co-author and work on those, and it gets auto-save as well. Let's go and have a look at what's going on in Outlook. So just some quick ones for Outlook. You can see this. This has got a clock icon, which tells you it's been delayed by some period of time. Clearer RSVP selections in the Outlook mobile, and even easier to update your choice. Outlook mobile, again, follow a meeting option. So I didn't know, right, when I first told you about this last month, I didn't know that you couldn't follow a meeting in the mobile version of Outlook, because you can do it on the browser, and you can do it in the new version of Outlook. And it's really useful, because if you say you can't attend a meeting, but you go to follow it, when the meeting starts, a little prompt comes up saying somebody's following this meeting. Why don't you start recording it or turning on a transcript? You've got way more chance of getting it recorded if you select that. Anyway, that is coming to the mobile if you use that. Outlook to group email notifications that arrive at the same time. So if you get loads of emails, so just think about this. Actually, just yesterday, somebody updated a load of calendar entries. It's like ping, 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 ping. It's going to stop doing that. When notifications arrive in a short period of time, like a single-digit number of seconds, it's just going to wait and show you one notification. Just a minor change, but that sounds a lot less annoying, doesn't it? And for those of you who look after who've got shared, or you look after delegate mailboxes, you're going to be able to schedule events from there sometime this month. So SharePoint. We had loads last month about SharePoint. All we've got this week is a handful of bite-sized updates. So this tick tells you this is almost certainly available to you already. It should have. I've left it 4 weeks, and it should be available. So SharePoint heading adds the heading 1 H1 to web part title areas. Now I was sure that they explicitly said they weren't doing this because of usability and accessibility. Anyway, when we talked about web parts and headings maybe 6 months ago. But anyway, they've changed their mind, and you're going to get this option. That should be available to you now. The new SharePoint experience. If you don't have this, it's been pushed back to late July, but it's due anytime now. This is it's quite different, isn't it? Look at that navigation on the left-hand side of SharePoint. It's quite different. If I'm honest, I struggle with it a little bit, because the previous version seemed to me very much from a users and a content consumption type point of view, but quite a lot of this is for publishers and builders. So it might be you have a different lens. That's okay. Turn your Copilot pages into SharePoint news posts. So you got your Copilot page, you worked on it, you can push that straight into be a news post. Push back quite a bit, actually. Push back to September. And a reminder, folks, that if you use SharePoint alerts, they are due to stop mid-July. So go and check that out. That's a good opportunity, isn't it, to remind people that you don't always have to go to SharePoint and look for new stuff. You can get that information to come to you, and you can your mind can just let those things go. There's different ways of doing it now. So I think that's a great opportunity to revisit that with your colleagues and say, you might not know this is going, you might never have heard of it, but just a reminder, you've got this functionality, and you can get SharePoint to come to you when something changes. Facilitator answers unanswered questions in your meetings. Okay, so it's going to spot when a question in your meeting goes unanswered. Let's have a closer look at this. So someone's asked what is an LLM, and it realizes that no one has answered it. So it's just going to just pop up and drop that in. Off by default. So the facilitator is off by default. So somebody with Copilot license needs to turn it on. At the moment, this is only for standard Teams meetings, so it's not for calls or webinars or town halls. And I didn't put it on the slide. I don't really know why, if I'm honest. But Microsoft say that they anticipate this intervening, this proactive action maybe once per meeting. So hopefully it won't be too intrusive, but it's going to be sitting in the background, and just if something gets missed, it's going to pipe up. Due next month. Catch up. Oh, I really like this one. Catch up on meeting recaps in the new Teams Recap app. How many times have you said you can't make a meeting, but you'll catch up with it afterwards? And how many times didn't you do that? I bet you there's more than just David smiling about that. We've all said it, we've all said, oh, we're going to catch up with that, and it doesn't happen. I think this is the answer. It's available on the left-hand rail. You see here that that it's been added. You can browse meeting recaps for the last 30 days. So if you're anything like me and David, and we didn't get to, you think, oh, I didn't go to that meeting, or you think, I've got 2 minutes, let me just skim through what I've missed. You can come here and skim through the meetings, and you can see what meetings you've missed. Oh, let me just go back one. Look at this. Were you mentioned in meetings? Did you remember that functionality I told you about a few minutes ago? The ability to follow a meeting. If you said you want to follow it, you can just say, I just want to view the ones that I have followed, and then and the ones that you completely missed. But I love this. Look at this. So I've gone to this view here, and I can select multiple meetings. I can select multiple meetings, and I get an audio recap of all of those meetings in one go. So it might be that, I don't know, maybe you're behind on 2 or 3 of those meetings. You got time for a cup of tea and a biscuit. You could just do this, click audio recap, and it could talk to you just while you catch your breath and just catch up on those meetings. And of course, if something catches your ear, go into the meeting and find out all about it. So it's pre-installed, but you might have to come down here, click on the 3 little dots, and if you like that, then maybe pin it and check it out. Rolling out now. Some of you may have it. So some of you may have it. I can see that in the chat, some people do. But if you don't have it yet, you should have it by the end of the month. Okay, you can probably tell that. I think that's great. I think that's going to genuinely make a difference to a lot of people when it comes to catching up on things that you've missed. Turn meeting AI, so you can turn Copilot or whatever AI is being used on or off during a meeting. Okay, so we've got this option here. Let's have a look here. We've got this toggle here. So if we click that on, then we can see that we can turn on the meeting AI, the Copilot facilitator, meeting intelligent recap all in one go. And then there's a nice simple indicator there. Look at this. If that little sparkle is activated at number 2, that tells you that it's on. Let's just go back one. Just turn it all back off. We click it to turn the drop down, and we can turn stuff back on. And it just tells us that we've got AI. So that just at a glance tells you that things are on. Okay, good. You should have that by the end of the month. Be interesting to see that as it comes out. Some quick ones for Teams. We've got 2 pages of these. Unusual month this month. There's a couple of things in here that I think maybe should have had their own slide when I think back. But the details were a little bit scant, and there weren't any images. There's one I'm going to talk to you about. In fact, I need to read it out to you because it's so complicated. So we've got 2 pages of these bite-sized updates. Teams phone transfers getting faster and simpler. Look at that nice, easy transfer button. So you can zap that off. And remember, folks, that in your meeting, that interface at the top is changing. So remember, I told you about that last month. It's going to become central. Most of the buttons across the top are attendee type buttons. The more is going to contain all the presenter and the owner type stuff, and this leave button is getting all the way over to the side. So look out for that, and apparently you can customize it. So look out for that new button, but also look out for those other changes I've told you about. Identify external bots during your Teams meeting. So this is going to come over the next week or so. So you can see here that someone's added this note taker, and it's going to pop up, and it's going to make it even easier. Interesting chat with Stuart at the start. It's going to make it even easier to identify to those and make it quick and easier to decide what to do with them. How long have I been talking about private chat for organisers and presenters in structured meetings, webinars, and town halls? It's got to be from Christmas, hasn't it? It's been pushed back again. I can't wait for this. If anyone does a webinar or a presentation with multiple people, and you hand over, you might say, Gillian, I'm going to hand over to you for the XYZ project update. And then you say, okay, I'm going to hand over to Anna for the ABC update. You've all got a certain amount of time. And it's so easy to go over, isn't it? Or to forget something, or you want to say something to the person. Some webinars I've done in the past, you might see me, and I've got a real habit of it anyway. I mess with my glasses a lot, and when the person who's presenting, they're running out of time. And when I take my glasses off, it means you're out of time and you need to pass on the baton for somebody else. But look at this, with this change here, on our other screen, we can have a window open and we can be chatting. I can't wait for this. I have no idea why it keeps getting pushed back. So it's a 6-month delay, but hopefully we'll have that at the end of the summer. Teams guest invitations to come from the inviter's email address. So just make it just a little bit easier to look at. So it's interesting there. This is not a proper screenshot for those of you on a call who might wonder why I'm showing that address. It's just a coincidence. So team guest invitations are going to come from the inviter's email address, just to make it a little bit easier to work out who it is and who they are. That'll be sometime this month. Teams to add granular channel notification settings. Okay, I said to you, there's an update. There's a couple of updates that I think should have that should have their own update. But there's not enough information about it. This is one, and this is one I'm going to have to read out to you. So Teams is giving you more control over Teams channel notifications with 3 presets. So all messages, mentions and replies, and mute. Okay, so that's fine. You can then customize each of those presets to manage notifications for unfollowed threads, tag mentions, channel mentions, and team mentions, and you can do this per channel, as well as control your banner notifications for all of those things that I've just talked about. Now, I don't know about you folks, but I need to see this one. I'm really struggling. There's no images. I don't know how we communicate that to our colleagues without some kind of screenshots. Hopefully they will come before it rolls out, but I think that's one to keep an eye on. I think based on the description, it sounds a bit bewildering to me, and I'm used to reading the descriptions. So hopefully there'll be information out about it. Hopefully there'll be a link. Right now there isn't. If they update the post, folks, I'll revisit this for you, and I'll rarely revisit the same update twice on a full update. But if they add some more detail to that, I'll revisit this and tell you all about it. That's definitely worth keeping an eye on. It looks great, but I think it just needs a lot more work to make it clear to people. Connecting team meetings to existing planner plans. So we're using tasks inside a meeting. Instead of creating a new one every single time, you can in advance you can tell your meeting what plan to use. I think that's quite a big change. I personally don't use Facilitate much, but I think for some people that would be quite a good update. And I think the more likely to use it, because they're not going to create a planner plan every single time. You should have this by the end of the summer. Okay, Teams breakout rooms to support meetings that have got up to 1,000 attendees. I'm not sure if anyone's got who would use that, but that seems like a lot of people. But if that's you and that solves a problem, look out for that by the end of July. There seems to be a lot of things that have gone live between when we last spoke, kind of announced at the start of July, maybe the end of June, the end of May, beginning of June, and kind of missed the cut off for the last one, and have suddenly gone live. So you're going to see a couple of things now which are available. Creating branded presentations with Copilot in SharePoint. So you can see here, we've clicked on the little plus sign, and one of the options is to select a brand. So this is for organizations that have got brand kits set up for Copilot. Okay, enterprise search in Excel agent. So Excel agent, so the terminology changed quite a lot, didn't it? Hopefully it's settled now. So Excel agent, so I'm going to use the terminology that Microsoft used, but I'm just clarifying that Excel agent is when I've got this drop down here that says allow editing. Okay, so I'm in Excel and I'm allowing editing. So I can search all the content across my organization. So I can do a search for stuff, and then I can use the search results as the grounding for the rest of my chat with Copilot and ask it to do stuff. So it seems to me, if you haven't tried this recently, folks, Copilot in the apps, and especially in Excel, has got so much better in the last few months. I don't know if anyone else got that experience. It's definitely, I don't know what they've changed. It's got so much better. And this is maybe a good opportunity. If you were telling your colleagues about this, it might be a good opportunity just to revisit Copilot in Excel, because early adopters of that weren't super amazed by it, but it has got so good. It's definitely worth a look. So just coming back to here, so I can search for stuff, and the results that I find can then be the grounding for the rest of work that I do. And you should have this now. This should have finished rolling out 7 days ago. Okay, another great change for Copilot in Excel is this improved file selector. It can be a bit clunky sometimes finding a file content. I look at the screen now. This is the old experience. So when we're looking for a file, we search. We have this narrow, skinny look. But let's have a look at the new one. This is going to look a lot more like what you're used to in Copilot. Very familiar, isn't it? So I think the ability to find your files. Look at that. We just start searching, and we've got all those filters, people, files, meetings, emails, chats, channels. I just think that's going to be such a fantastic change, and it's just that I think it'll feel familiar. It's one of those changes that I think will kind of slide in, and it will just become a bit more useful, but people won't really notice it because they're used to using this interface anyway, aren't they? I think it's done. So I have to say it simplifies getting files into the Excel agent while you're editing. I absolutely agree. Fantastic update, and you should have that already as well. What else do we do? This is interesting. I'd like to know whether you're using this or not. The Planner agent in Copilot. So brings tasks and plan management into Copilot. So I'll go to agents. And then look at this. I've got that new layout, the new interface, and this works beautifully actually. And the agents, you got the bar there, scroll up and down. That interface does work really nicely. But we're going to choose Planner. And you can see here that I want to set up a plan for managing monthly Evergreen updates, web pages, and video. And it's like, okay, well, here's a plan for you. And then it has. So that was. If I was doing this for real, folks, of course I wouldn't use such a brief prompt, but I just wanted to see what it would spit out at me. And I look at this, and you think, actually, so it's obviously not quite right, but a lot of that stuff I would do. I think with a good quality prompt, if you're going to start from scratch, rather than go into Planner, start a plan where you want it to live, then designing your buckets and your tasks. I think doing it in here, just planning out your buckets, planning out your tasks, maybe make some of them recurring. Review what's on here and then commit it, save plan, and then it gets set up. And I don't know what it'd be like using it for the management, but certainly next time I need to create a plan, I'm going to try this. I think this would be a fantastic, fast way to set things up. This functionality, again, has got a lot better. When I interact with Copilot and Outlook, for example, its ability to do things behind the scenes. So the last time I used that with Outlook and Copilot, I was setting up some training, and I wanted before it got set up, I wanted some placeholders in my calendar, but 30 minutes before, and I wanted certain wording. So I was in Copilot, pointed it at the spreadsheet, told it which rows to look at. And I asked it, did it understand what it can see? Yes, it did. Now go and create placeholders in my calendar. And it did. It took a couple of goes to get the wording right, but that Copilot working behind the scenes is getting so much better, and I can't wait to try this. Prepare for questions, Copilot skill in PowerPoint. So this is a set of 3 skills, and I told you about 2 of them last month. So I've saved this one for this month. So you got a presentation coming up. So maybe Nicola, you got a presentation, and maybe you got the heebie-jeebies because this is a really important presentation that you're doing, Nicola, and you just want a bit of feedback about it. So you come into here, you click on the little plus sign, and you say you'd like to look at all skills. And one of those skills that you're going to select is prepare for questions, because you want to make sure that you're super equipped. So you select prepare for questions, and it says use the prepare for questions skill to help me address weak points of my presentation. You might add some other bits in there, but you're going to say yes, zap it off. And then it's like, who is the intended audience for this presentation? What is the goal or the purpose? And it starts talking to you. And that one at the bottom, it has no clear user impacts for most features. And thank you, Copilot. Brace yourself, folks. Right, it is not gentle with you, right? Just to amuse yourself, next time you got a presentation, do this, because it doesn't tiptoe around its feedback. I was a little bit taken aback, but it's super useful. Check that out, folks. Lots of insights, things that you can do better. If you looked at this before and only supported Anthropic as a tool, and you didn't have it, revisit it, because they've added GPT 5.5 now. That doesn't really matter. All that really matters is some of you might not have been able to use it before, and now you can. Go and check it out. Fantastic set of tools. Let me just go back one, actually. Look at this. Review this presentation, visualize and prepare for questions. Really good options there, folks. Go and check them out next time you look at that slide deck. What do we have here? We're coming towards the end of our time together. Copilot offers Anthropic models when editing Word documents. So just a bit of a note here. So Claude has been added as an option. Okay, so Claude, Anthropic Claude tools. They were rolled out globally, but they were default on. But in the UK and the EU, they were off by default because they wanted those organizations to have a look at the data processing and what was happening and decide whether they'll turn it on. So some places I work have it and some places don't. So you may or may not see that. And if you don't see it, that's why you don't see it. But just want you to be aware that if your organization does allow Anthropic models because they've onboarded them as sub-processors, then that should be available to you. I've been using Claude a lot outside of work, and I like the way it talks back to me. So I think you're going to see more and more of this. I think Copilot will end up just being the door, like just the gateway into lots of AI. And actually, rather than being the AI, I think you see more and more. It's just going to be the button you click to select your AI, or you can just leave it on auto if you're quite happy with that. Create presentations with Copilot straight from the PowerPoint homepage. You go to PowerPoint homepage, you're going to get this new section at the top, and you can create your PowerPoint from there. Create Excel spreadsheets from Copilot Notebooks. Maybe, Suzanne Thomas, you've been doing loads of work in your Copilot Notebooks because you watched this webinar and you decided that's for you. You're going to try using it, and there's lots of stats and information. You can then push that into an Excel spreadsheet after you've done all that collating, all that information. You can get it to make sense of it in a spreadsheet and in numbers if that works for you.